migraine headaches, that led to blurry vision, that led to double vision, led to all kinds of balance issues, and then it became emotionally liable. So I started having
because it was a softball being shoved into the back of my skull. Here's a morphine patch, or here's Vicodin, or here's some Percocet. We have no idea, but we don't know what's going on.
This is the biggest cause of loss of productive years of life in this country. You know, the people that have the accidents, that have the disabilities.
Like, I was very dizzy. I was pretty out of it. Like, out of one eye, it was pretty blurry. But it was one of our playoff games for like a state cup that we had for my club team. So
I think you want to get to a point where you can almost eliminate this from happening, and it's either going to come through science or it's going to come through technology.
Again, thank you for joining us for another special edition of Living Well with Montel. Now, according to the CDC, 40% of all TBIs are caused by falls. Now, imagine waking up one day, you're in a hospital bed, you have no idea how you got there. That's exactly what happened to my next guest. Please welcome Jane and her husband, Joe. Really, thank you guys so much for being here with me today.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Because what you're about to do, I think, is about to give some relief and sense of hope to a lot of families out here. You are exactly what happened when I said. You woke up one day, you woke up and went, whoa, 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 what's up, right? And couldn't figure out what had happened. You know what happened, so why don't you explain what happened first, and then we'll come and figure out.
Sure. I was laying in bed one morning, and I heard her tumble in our home. I jumped out of bed and woke up to find Jane at the bottom of the steps.
And this is a single flight of stairs, right?
Yeah, it was in a Cape Cod home, a single flight of stairs.
And I'm not trying to make that sound minor, because so many people have fallen down a flight of stairs, hit their head, and don't even go to the doctor. But this was a little worse than that.
Yes, it was obvious that she needed immediate medical attention. I realized she was breathing, but her eyes were open, but she was not conscious.
So I'm gonna jump you forward, rush to the hospital. You were in and out of consciousness, in and out of a coma for what, the next 2-3 weeks?
3 weeks, and then for probably another week, I was minimally conscious. When I had gone to rehab, the first week, I don't remember much.
When did you, that aha, why am I here? When was that, the first week?
No. I was, one of my biggest, I have aphasia, so I have a speaking problem. One of my first remembrances was leaving Hackensack Hospital and going to rehab.
And see, again, how do you think you're feeling now? How are you doing now, Jane?
I'm doing well.
Better than before?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. If you could say, because I want people to understand what it's like to be Jane, the Jane before the fall. Who was that Jane?
The Jane before the fall, before the fall, was a practicing dental hygienist. I worked several days a week, saw 10 patients a day. I worked out at a dance class 3 times a week.
Why do I look at you and know that you had one of those personalities that, you know, when you were sticking a probe in somebody's mouth, they were laughing, right? You were that guy, you were that lady who was making, I'm laughing while you, right? You were that personality.
I was that person. I had wonderful patients. I would speak to them during the cleaning, and the dentist would come in and say, did you get anything done? All I heard was speaking.
Yeah, you can tell, that's probably the
But I loved it.
Right.
I did it for 30 years.
And then, who is the Jane now?
The Jane now has a lot of anxiety. I definitely had post-traumatic stress after the injury. I still think I do, to a point. In the beginning, I didn't want Joe to leave the house, thinking he might not come back. When we went out to dinner with friends, I would kiss them goodbye because I thought I'd never see them again.
Cognitive issues? Trying to remember things, trying to connect the dots?
My memory was very good.
Okay.
It was my speech. I fractured my right temporal lobe, and I had a contra coup. I know someone had said that. My brain injury is primarily on the left side, the left temporal lobe, which is speech.
And that's you are, when you're processing words now, is it you can't get the word out fast enough? Does your brain think it and then your mouth won't repeat it?
No, it's not that. I can't remember the word.
Can't remember the word.
Yeah.
Chuck, as a caregiver, my friend, tell me who the Jane was before.
Jane was an excellent wife, my love, my life companion. We were focused on ourselves. Okay? We both had good jobs. We were enjoying life and moving forward.
And the Jane now?
Still my loving wife. No question about that. Probably even more so than before. We now realize what's important in life, and we focus on assisting others.
Absolutely. And in that assisting, so I mean, this has been, let me grab some tissues, guys, because I'm telling you, I'm feeling like you are. I can't.
I know,
You know
you're
why?
crying.
And I will tell you, I'm not sad at all.
I'm not either.
There's no sadness.
It's not
really.
sadness tears, absolutely not.
No, this is maybe a little bit more compassion, but it's more also just the thought. I mean, I often think back on the me before my diagnosis. Okay? So then I know the me after. And no matter how much people will tell me what they think, I know what I think. There's, again, you're a very special couple because you are a caregiver. I mean, you know, there are probably some times where, you know, there's some things that we can make a joke about, laugh about.
We laugh a lot.
Huh? You have to, because there's probably some funny things that you do from time to time. But as a caregiver, you know, there are a lot of people in this country who are sitting at home. They have a family member who is like Jane, who they won't accept has a brain injury, won't take them to get help. You know, they fell in the backyard, and they're still there for it. They didn't go through a coma, but they were in the backyard, and they're exhibiting symptoms that are similar and won't reach out for help. How do you convince that caregiver to convince the person to do it?
The first thing you have to do is realize and accept that you have a brain injury, okay? And that there are sources out there that can assist with that, whether it's a support group, whether it's therapy, whether it's rehabilitation, whether it's talking to a counselor, whether it's talking to a friend or neighbor who may have gone through similar life-changing experiences.
All right. And then who is the caregiver for Joe? Homie? Huh? Who does Joe reach out to? Because that's something very important also. When we're talking about traumatic brain injury, you know, again, you know how this is affecting your husband. And you're the one who has to stand here strong. But, you know, I should also say that, you know, there should be some backup for you. So where do you go for backup, my friend? Have you started reaching out for any?
I did, and I got a lot of assistance from others as I was going through it. Okay, I have always been and continue to be a very confident person, that I knew what needed to be done. I didn't always know how to do it, but I knew what needed to be done, and I reached out to others and did my own research to find out what needed to be done, and then with my confidence I was able to get it done.
Good, my friend. Well, you know, Jane, you go to occupational therapy time to time?
Not anymore.
You did for a while.
Yeah,
Right?
I had inpatient, absolutely. I did speech therapy, physical therapy, and occupational therapy. And then I went back to my rehab hospital as an outpatient for cognitive therapy. I was there all day for 3 weeks. It's given by occupational therapists that have a specialty in brain injury. And basically I was in a room with, say, 12 other people who had survived a brain injury. I wasn't quite sure why I was there, but I figured it out. And we had probably about six classes a day: speech therapy, executive function, frontal lobe. We learned a lot. Then we had a psychology group at the end of the day. And I think without that, I wouldn't have gotten the gains that I've gotten now.
I'll take a little break. We'll be back right after this. As you've heard from our guests, traumatic brain injury can cause many symptoms, including balance disorders. The only way we're going to be able to learn if treatments work to address these symptoms is through scientific clinical trial. If you, a family member, or a friend have chronic balance disorder that is a result of a mild or moderate traumatic brain injury due to sports, military service, slips, trips, or falls, they may be eligible to participate in a clinical trial for an investigational device being developed to treat balance disorder. Please visit braininjurytrial.com/livingwell or call 1-877-847-4290 for more information.